So, dear students, welcome to the next lecture of chemistry of milk subject, and the topic is lipids in milk, part 4. Today's chapter is properties of milk lipid. In bovine milk fat, the triacyl glycerols they account for about 98% of the total milk lipids, and the rest 2% is made up of diacylglycerols, monoacylglycerols, free fatty acids, sterols, phospholipids, sterol esters, and hydrocarbons. So the diacylglycerols and monoacylglycerols and free fatty acids, how they are produced? They are produced basically from triacylglycerols. How? As we all know that triacylglycerol is made up of a glycerol backbone which is bound with three fatty acids through ester linkage. So when lipolysis occurs using an enzyme or chemical reaction, then if one fatty acid gets detached from the triacylglycerol, then diacylglycerol is produced. Similarly, if two fatty acids gets detached by lipolysis, then monoacyl glycerols are produced, and these fatty acids which are detached from triacyl glycerol, they are called as free fatty acids. So free fatty acids basically they are also an indicator of the uh, amount of rancidity in a fat. More the amount of free fatty acids means more lipolysis had occurred in that milk fat sample, and so FFA content is an indicator of the quality of milk fat. Lower the FFA content, better the quality. The next milk lipids are phospholipids. We have discussed them in detail. They are bipolar, having both polar and non-polar end, and that's why they are integral component of the cellular membrane materials, which accompanies the fat globule during extrusion from the secreting cells. Now talking about the properties of the lipids. In our last presentation, we discussed that there are short connotations for fatty acids that are usually used. They are represented by two numericals, and the first one is the number of carbon atoms, and the second one denotes the number of double bonds present in that fatty acid. For example, 18 is to 2, 18 is to 1, 18 is to 0. So 18 is to 0 means stearic acid with no double bond or no unsaturation. 18 is to 1, oleic acid with one unsaturation. 18 is to 2, linoleic acid with two unsaturations, like that. So triglycerides, the distribution of fatty acids or group of residues over the three positions in a triglyceride or triacylglycerol is not random. Particularly, the preference of butyric acid and caproic acid for the third position is not random at all. It means there is a particular pattern which type of fatty acid gets attached at SN1, SN2 and SN3 position of a triglyceride molecule. The position of fatty acid residue in triglyceride molecule affects both physical properties, particularly crystallization, and it determines which fatty acids are predominantly liberated by enzymatic hydrolysis. However, the position of these fatty acids has least effect on the chemical reactivity. Most of the triacylglycerols are not very reactive at room temperature, and at higher temperature oxidative attack may occur and the keto and hydroxyl groups may react. So in the figure present in the slide, you can see that the short chain fatty acids, they prefer to get attached at SN1 position. The unsaturated fatty acids with one unsaturation, MUFA, mono unsaturated fatty acids, they usually prefer to attach at SN2 position, and the fatty acids with more than one unsaturation, they usually prefer to attach at SN3 position. The triacylglycerols are very non-polar in nature and they are not surface active. However, it should be kept in mind that diacylglycerol and monoacylglycerol, they are quite surface active agents. The triacylglycerols, they act as a solvent for many other non-polar substances. A small amount of water dissolves in liquid triglycerides, but triglycerides do not dissolve in aqueous media at all. The triglyceride composition in several milk products will be affected, as in the case of butter. Milk, which is obtained by churning of cream, have a very few lower melting triglycerides than those of the whole milk fat, which is reflected in a higher degree of unsaturated fatty acid residue. Now talking about the milk fat constants, we know there are several milk fat constants and they are helpful in characterization of a fat. And the type of fatty acids present in the milk fat can also be identified by using these milk fat constants. And the third is that these constants also enable us to detect the adulteration, if any, in form of in both qualitative and in some cases quantitative form also. By means of qualitative adulteration detection, we mean to say that some tests are available which can uh, uh, provide us the information that a particular adulterant is present or absent in a given milk sample or given fat sample, and quantitatively means the percentage or amount of adulterant which is present in a given milk fat sample is called as quantitative estimation. So both qualitative and quantitative estimations are possible by using these fat constants. Now we will discuss these four fat constants one by one, starting with the refractive index. Refractive index means the angle when a beam of ray of light passes from one medium to another medium, the angle uh, it gets bent is basically refractive index. This property of milk fat is based on the principle that degree to which a light wave passes through the liquid fat, which will be the characteristic feature of that milk fat. This physical constant for milk fat is determined by using two instruments. The one is called as Abbe refractometer, which is there on your screen. The reading is usually obtained at 40 degrees Celsius by using this instrument, and this instrument directly gives us the value of refractive index. The second instrument which is used for estimation of refractive index is called as butyrorefractometer. The reading obtained with this instrument has to be converted into refractive index or to be used as butyrorefractometer reading. The reading for the milk fat ranges between 1.4527 to 1.4566 due to the large proportion of saturated glyceride and short chain acids in bovine milk fat. It is low in comparison to the other fats and oils. The second fat constant, that is saponification value. If we take a look at the definition of saponification value, then the saponification value is equivalent to the number of milligrams of potassium hydroxide required to saponify 1 gram of fat, and its value for milk fat falls between 210 to 233. The value of a lipid indicates the average molecular weight of fatty acid present in it. For example, what I mean to say by this, that saponification number helps in getting an idea about the molecular weight of fatty acids present in a given fat sample. For example, there are two samples, sample A and sample B. Both are having 1 gram of fat in sample A and 1 gram of fat in sample B. But sample A contains uh, higher molecular weight fatty acids and sample B contains low molecular weight fatty acids. So in 1 gram of fat sample, there would be comparatively low number of fatty acids in 1 gram of sample A compared to 1 gram of sample B. So the saponification value of sample A would be less than saponification value of sample B, even though both are having 1 gram of fat. So this is how the saponification number gives us an indication of you can say the molecular weight of fatty acids present in a given fat sample. The third physical constant is iodine number. Iodine number is the number gram of iodine absorbed by 100 gram of fat under specified conditions. Basically, iodine is absorbed wherever there is unsaturation in a fatty acid. So more unsaturated the fatty acid, more iodine will be absorbed and more will be the iodine number of that fat having more amount of unsaturated fat. So this value is a measure of the unsaturated linkages present in a fat. One molecule of halogen compound absorbed by each unsaturated linkage, and the absorption is expressed as equivalent number of iodine absorbed by 100 gram of fat. In case of milk, the iodine value ranges from 26 to 42. The next constant is Rm value, Richard Missel value. Its definition is little bit complex, but when we will discuss it in detail, it will seem easier to you. As per the definition, it is the number of milliliters of 0.1 normal sodium hydroxide or aqueous alkali solution which is required to neutralize steam volatile water soluble fatty acids distilled from 5 gram of fat under the precise conditions specified in the method. So the main important words in the definition are steam volatile water soluble fatty acids. So when 5 gram of fat sample is taken under precise conditions and that sample is treated with 0.1 normal alkali solution, aqueous alkali solution, then how much of 0.1 normal sodium hydroxide can neutralize the steam volatile water soluble fatty acids indicates the Rm value of that sample. Steam volatile water soluble fatty acids are the fatty acids with low molecular weight, specifically butyric acid and caproic acid. They are called as they are both steam volatile and water soluble. So this value is quite significant for milk fat since it primarily measures the butyric acid and caproic acid content in the given fat sample. When compared to other fats, this value for milk fat is high. This helps in identification of milk fat from other fats, and the Rm value for milk fat ranges between 18 to 30. The next value is Polanski value. If we take a look at the definition of Polanski value, then the only difference is that steam volatile water insoluble fatty acids. Otherwise, the same definition is same as Rm value definition. It is the number of milliliters of 0.1 normal sodium hydroxide or aqueous alkali solution required to neutralize the steam volatile water insoluble fatty acids distilled from 5 gram of fat under the precise conditions specified in the method. The caprylic and capric acid, although steam volatile, are insoluble in water. And since most of the steam volatile fatty acids in milk fat are water soluble, this value helps in identifying the presence of coconut oil content which contains higher proportion of these acids. The main fatty acid which is present in coconut oil is lauric acid, C12, means fatty acid with 12 carbon atoms. So if there is an adulteration of coconut oil in a milk fat, then it can easily be detected or judged by estimating the Polanski value of the given fat sample. And the normal Polanski value PV value for milk fat ranges from 1 to 3.3. There is one similar value which is also a constant, that is called a Kirchner value. Here also the definition seems quite similar, and the only difference is that the water soluble silver salts are used. So as per the definition, it is the number of milliliters of 0.1 normal sodium alkali solution required to neutralize steam volatile water soluble fatty acids distilled from 5 gram of fat, which forms water soluble silver salts distilled from 5 gram fat under specified conditions. The next physical constant is the melting point of milk fat. As we know that triacylglycerol molecule of milk fat are mixture of mixed fatty acids, and all fatty acids are having their different melting points. So there is no possibility to obtain a specific temperature to be regarded as melting point similar to pure chemical compounds. As such, melting point of milk fat is the end of melting range. So usually we say that the melting point range of milk fat varies from 30 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius. So it's a whole range which covers almost 10 degrees Celsius. So it's not a sharp melting point in case of milk fat. And the reason we have already discussed, because 98% of milk fat is in the form of triacylglycerols, and which contains fatty acids, and fatty acids, there are different fatty acids, and different fatty acids are having different melting point of them. Now talking about lipolysis and densidity of milk fat. Market milk and some products manufactured from milk may have a flavor which is described as rancid, which is not uh, a you can say favored flavor, which is one type of defect in flavor. And the development of this flavor is due to the accumulation of proper concentration and type of free fatty acids which are released due to the hydrolysis of milk fat due to the action of lipases which are normally present in milk. So usually when lipolysis occurs, the triacylglycerols molecules converts into di and monoacylglycerols, and free fatty acids are released. These free fatty acids, they are having their unique objectionable flavor, and when the amount of these FFA increases in a given milk fat, then the milk fat possesses that objectionable flavor, and that flavor is called as rancid flavor, and the process is called as rancidity. Now this rancidity is of two types: hydrolytic rancidity and oxidative rancidity. We will discuss both of them in somewhat detail. Starting with the hydrolytic rancidity, the flavor defect commonly referred as rancidity, or more specifically hydrolytic rancidity, is caused primarily by the presence of in milk of a single enzyme that is called as milk lipoprotein lipase. Although most of the milks contain sufficient amount of this enzyme to cause rancidity, but in practice this is not happening to that level, uh, and the reason for that is that the substrate, which is tricyrglycerol, is well protected from the lipase by a membrane which is called as milk fat globule membrane. If due to some processing treatments the membrane gets damaged, for example due to homogenization, the membrane gets ruptured, then the lipolysis occurs at a quite faster rate. The second type of rancidity is oxidative rancidity, which is also called as autooxidation. The spontaneous oxidation of substance at ambient temperature in presence of oxygen is called as autooxidation. The rate of autooxidation is influenced by the complex composition of dairy products, the physical state of the product, and the presence of natural anti or pro-oxidants, as well as processing, manufacturing, storage conditions tend to influence the uh, lipolysis. If we talk about the mechanism of autooxidation, chemical reactions involved autooxidation of milk fat are grouped into three categories: initiation, propagation, and termination. The initiation step in the autooxidation of unsaturated fatty acid and their ester is the formation of free radical. In the case of MUFA and non-conjugated polyene fatty acids, the reaction is initiated by the removal of hydrogen atom from the methylene group of adjacent to the double bond. The resulting free radical stabilized by resonance adds oxygen to form peroxide containing free radicals. These in turn react with another mole of unsaturated compound to produce two isomeric hydroxyperoxides, isomeric hydroxyperoxides in addition to free radicals capable of continuing the chain reaction. Thank you. So in our next class we will discuss about the uh, unsponifiable matters and their properties in milk fat.